Bebo.
Bebo.
Bebo. Bebo. Purchased the social networking site Bebo for $850 million.
Here we go.
Hello fellow emos and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be exploring the rise and fall of Bebo, which is the supreme social media of the early 2000s in my opinion. As real friends said, nostalgia, it just gets the best of me. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, MCR5 2024, it's defo happening. How Bebo began. Bebo, which is a backronym for Blog Early, Blog Often, was created in 2005 by married couple Michael and Sochi Birch. Michael stated in an interview that they wanted to create a generic social networking site, which was in between MySpace and Facebook. MySpace launched in 2003 and Facebook was launched in 2004. They wanted to take the fun elements of MySpace, such as its customization and focus on music, and mix it with Facebook's sense of home and community.
We wanted to be a generic social network.
Yeah.
You know, our initial vision for Bebo was to be the product quality and utility experience of Facebook, but with the kind of fun and self-expression of MySpace. We wanted to be something in between, hoping that it would be better than the sum of the parts.
Yeah.
Sounds like the perfect site, right? The internet agreed and Bebo quickly took off. Let's talk about some of Bebo's features. Bebo, just like MySpace, had fully customizable profiles. Users could create their own skins, which I will be referring to as profile themes from now on. I, of course, had a very emo profile that often featured My Chemical Romance, skulls, stars, everything super generic and emo. In fact, I taught myself how to use Photoshop because I wanted to create my own profile art that badly. Users could give each other love hearts, which was a kind of clout currency. Your profile would show how many hearts you've been given in total, and of course those with more hearts were seen as Bebo famous. At one point, users could only send one love heart per day, and so picking who would receive your heart was actually an enormous decision. One way to boost how many love hearts you had was to sell profile themes you had created in exchange for them. People would hustle as if they were receiving cold, hard cash. Another feature borrowed from MySpace was the ability to rank your friends. This, of course, was serious business back then. It didn't matter how close you thought you were with someone, if you didn't make their public ranking, then the relationship meant nothing. Equally, being in someone's ranking if they were Bebo famous meant that you were the shit. Some people, like myself, copped out of ranking friends to a degree. Profiles were created that were named things like, my partner in crime. These profiles would have arrows as their profile pictures, so when they were added to your top 16, it would halve the amount of friends you had to rank. Plus, it looked cool. No profile was complete without your other half. Like the name suggests, users could select one person to be displayed as their other half on their profiles, and you would be displayed on their profile. This was a big commitment back then. Think of it as being Facebook official, but cool. Although it wasn't just for romantic relationships. Besties, siblings, and other family members could be your other half too. You could also have a blog on your profile, which, considering this was all happening at the height of emo, was a constant source of drama. Dear Diary, mood apathetic. I remember people I went to school with being way too open on their blog and it resulting in mandatory trips to the guidance counselor. People would spill their heart open for everyone to see, and it definitely contributed to the emo suicide cult rumors that would plague the British press in 2008. Finally, users could have a song in their profile. Whilst this was similar to MySpace, it was an embedded video called a flashbox. I joined Bebo about 1 year after it launched, as everyone was talking about it in school. It was the website to be on. If you weren't on Bebo, then you were missing out. By May 2006, Bebo reported having 24 million users and 2.5 billion page views per month. Bebo's growth was fast and almost unprecedented. This led to them securing 15 million USD in financing that year. It was so popular that the 2006 Google Zeitgeist declared Bebo the most Googled term that year. That put it ahead of MySpace and the World Cup. In 1 year, Bebo had taken the web by storm. But what exactly made Bebo so popular? Of course it was a great site, but that's not the full story. In part, the UK did. Let me explain. Whilst Bebo was founded in San Francisco, Michael Birch, one half of the founding team, is British. It's already been established that they wanted to create a mixture of Facebook and MySpace. Whilst there was already a gap in the market for this in the US, there was an even bigger gap in the UK, as MySpace and Facebook weren't too popular back then. So when Bebo launched, it was a novelty for a lot of Brits.
I mean, we grew much more quickly in the UK than America, and that's, I think, because MySpace and increasingly Facebook at the time were so entrenched in America.
Essentially, it was the right product being launched at the right time in the right place. Whilst Bebo did see some success in North America, Michael admitted it was hard to get their foot in the door, and when they did open it, they found the market to be oversaturated. According to Bebo's VP of Business Development and Sales, the site was also greatly popular in Ireland, Australia, and New Zealand.
That we couldn't get a foothold. And I think anyone launching any sort of social network, generic social network now, trying to get a foothold is going to be quite difficult. You know, as successful as Bebo was, we ultimately actually lost. We didn't win.
As they say, all good things must come to an end. Bebo grew rapidly, but the decline was even faster. In 2008, AOL purchased Bebo for $850 million USD.
America Online has purchased the social networking site Bebo for $850 million. AOL says they intend to use Bebo to expand their instant messaging service into a social network where people can chat as well as share and distribute media. In the meantime, AOL hopes Bebo will help them beef up their ad revenue.
The Birches are said to have personally made nearly $600 million USD from this deal. When reflecting on the sale, Michael has stated that Saatchi and him knew that they were losing to Facebook. This is in spite of the fact that 2008 was the peak of Bebo's success. This is why they decided to sell their site.
Facebook won social networking. It just happened to be such a big space that you could be number 2 or 3 and still exit for a lot of money, which is kind of why we sold. We were being flat for 6 months prior to selling, and it wasn't for lack of trying to grow. It was just evident that we'd done that. And we've had spectacular growth for a long time, and then we'd gone flat.
Despite the fact that Bebo had fallen behind Facebook and MySpace, it was still an extremely popular website, and AOL was apparently trying to buy relevancy. So the sale went through. However, everything quickly unfolded, and it has been described as one of the worst deals ever made in the dot-com era. Why? Because 2 years after purchasing the site, AOL sold it for reportedly less than $10 million USD to hedge fund Criterion Partners. That's tragic with a capital T. But how does a company lose value so quickly?
Do you think you got a good price for Bebo?
Yes.
Okay.
Whilst there are multiple reasons for Bebo's decline, the most notable one is Facebook. Bebo used Facebook's limited presence in the UK to gain rapid popularity, but then Facebook started expanding, and expanding quickly. At the same time, Bebo's popularity was declining rapidly. By 2010, Bebo's global unique visitors apparently plummeted to 12.8 million. Whilst that sounds like a lot of visitors, it's a 45% decrease from the previous year. Plus, during this time, Facebook grew to 462 million visitors. Bebo fell off, and hard. It has been stated that Bebo simply couldn't keep up with Facebook anymore. Bebo needed investment and engineers. At one point we had 40 engineers, when Facebook had something like 2,000. You can't produce a good product fast enough at that scale. In fact, you can't even keep the site running properly, one source stated. However, a lot of people thought that AOL was doomed from the moment that the sale went through, at least for the price they had paid. Of course, hindsight is 2020, but 850 million USD for a second-tier social networking site that was already seeing signs of decline and is mostly only popular with teenagers in the UK is obscene in many ways.
sold it for 850 million. It just got sold to Criterion for $10 million. So you weren't tempted to?
We thought about it briefly, but it was, and I think it is an absolute bargain at 10 million.
Yeah.
And I believe it sold for less than 10 million.
Yeah.
But it just felt like a step back, and I wanted to do something new and original.
In 2011, Criterion Partners tried to relaunch Bebo with a new design. However, the site never really picked back up. I dropped off at this point, as did everyone I know, pretty much. Criterion Partners even brought back Michael Birch, hoping that he could galvanize it. The site remains in kind of a state of limbo for a couple of years. Yes, it has some users, but it's just a shadow of its former self. This is until 2013, when a Chapter 11 bankruptcy was filed. But Capital Court said at the time that Bebo was running healthily, operating as usual, and this was just a procedural thing, just to restructure some operational inefficiencies and other arrangements that are burdensome. Despite that statement, Bebo once again ends up for sale. The Birches ended up rebuying Bebo for only $1 million USD. So if you remember, they sold Bebo and they're said to have profited personally around 600 million USD. And then just a few years later, they're buying it back for only $1 million USD. That's some iconic behavior. There was a lot of excitement about Bebo once again being owned by the Birches. There was once again another relaunch, but that had limited success, and within a couple of years, Bebo was once again closed. For me, I think society had just changed too much. Social media had changed, and yes, Bebo was the best social media, but nostalgia wasn't enough to keep it relevant and keep people interested. Can you guess what happened next? That's right, another revival. This time though, Bebo wanted to get into esports, and this got the attention of Twitch. Amazon then purchased Bebo for 25 million USD. I know that doesn't sound a lot compared to the previous 850 million, but considering they repurchased it for $1 million, 25 million, that's pretty good. But the story doesn't end there, cause guess what happens next? That's right, another revival. Whilst Amazon did purchase Bebo, they didn't purchase the brand, they only purchased the services. This means that the Birches still owned the Bebo brand, and they decided to once again try and relaunch it. Michael, speaking exclusively to the BBC, said, "At the moment, I'm the only one coding it. This started off as a fun lockdown project to give me something to do. It certainly didn't start out as, can it become as big as we used to be? But you know, in the back of my mind, is that a possibility? Of course it is. And it's a fun thing to contemplate. Do I realistically think that's going to happen? No, I don't. But it is more fun trying a thing sometimes than necessarily achieving it. Spoiler alert, but this relaunch didn't work out, obviously. But you know what? I love that he spent his lockdown trying to revive Bebo. I simply spent my lockdown turning nocturnal and also entering hundreds of competitions a day, so time well spent, Michael, and honestly, I appreciate your continuous efforts in trying to revive Bebo. As I said, it was my favorite social network of all time, so thank you for the effort, Michael, truly. And that's where the Bebo story ends. For now, like I said, that final attempt at revival didn't work either. It just never made it out of the testing phase, unfortunately. Or you know what, I wouldn't be surprised if another revival happened a couple years from now. There's one thing about the Birches, they're not giving up on Bebo. Did you guys use Bebo at all? At the time, I didn't realize how UK-centric it was. I just assumed it was popular across the globe. And now when I talk about it, people are like, oh, yeah, like I think I remember that, but I don't know anyone who used it. And if you made it this far, I just want to thank you for sitting through this. I've had a lot of people ask me what I'm doing with this channel. I just kind of dropped my first video out of nowhere. I am hoping to do one video a week, and then once I've made like a handful of videos, I am going to be buying a microphone. I just didn't want to buy one straight away because I don't know if I'm going to commit to this. Like I like to think I will be, but you know, got to do a few more videos and then I will get a microphone. Thing is, like, will I sound better or worse on a good microphone? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out.